So Joseph, today we're talking about Gazprom, the Russian gas company. It's had results today for the third quarter of its financial year. What has Gazprom been telling us?
It's not terribly great news. Net income in that quarter was down 10%. I mean, it was up about 4% in the 9 months to September 2013. But Gazprom has a host of problems, lower export prices for its gas. Its European customers are very picky about pricing. It has a Chinese deal which has taken a very long time to negotiate, and that's been drawn out a bit longer.
And is this reflected in the share's valuation?
Well, this is the really interesting part. Few people probably realise that Gazprom is trading at 3 times price to sort of forward earnings, which is incredibly cheap if you compare it to other emerging market integrated sort of oil and gas companies. So the Chinese companies in that sector, like PetroChina, are trading about 8 to 9 times price to forward earnings. Petrobras is trading about 6. So the question is really, why is Gazprom so cheap?
So what's the answer? Why have investors turned away from this enormous Russian company?
Well, it's because the political risk that Gazprom is involved in is unquantifiable, and it's twofold. The fact that it's a Russian company, it's Vladimir Putin's Russia, and also its two big customers are Europe and, in prospect, China. But the sort of case for why it's a screaming buy possibly is its dividend.
And how much does it pay as a dividend? Is it a big yielder?
Well, the dividend yield is 6%. You can compare that to Shell or BP, which are on 4 or 5, obviously. But the company says it will pay 25% of its sort of income, and it's changing to IFRS accounts. So the investors kind of have that in prospect. But there is ultimately that sort of layer of unquantifiable risk.
And how big is that layer? What sort of stake does the Russian government hold in?
Well, it's a 50% stake. So you are a minority investor going into this, even if you get cash out. And effectively, you're also a minority investor in Kremlin foreign policy. I mean, one of the big things at the moment is Vladimir Putin dangling cheap gas to Ukraine in return for influence. And as you can kind of see on the news at the moment, that's not received terribly well by the Ukrainian people.
Well, Joseph, that 6% dividend yield certainly sounds very nice, but as ever, big returns only come with big risks. Joseph, thank you very much.